Good morning, everybody. My name is Leslie Alupatu. I'm the Assistant Executive Director at the IESA, and I oversee cheerleading. And my goal today is to share some information with you as we get started for this year's state competition in January. If you have any questions leading up to the competition or after watching this video, please feel free to shoot me an email at leslie@iesa.org, and that's spelled Leslie. We're going to go ahead and just get started with some important dates that you need to remember. If you're watching this video, it was sent to you because you were already signed up for the competition, so you don't need to worry about that. However, next week we will open up the slots for practice sessions for the day before the competition. So if you are interested in signing up for a practice session on Friday, January 20th, please make sure to email Brenda, BRENDA at IESA.org beginning on November 1st next week. And please make sure you include which time you would like. If you look on our website, you can see the list of times for practice sessions that are 10 minutes apiece. The online roster deadline for cheerleading is on December 16th. You will also need to make sure you include your team photo as well, and I'll talk a little bit more in just a bit about what's included in the online roster. Again, practice sessions are on Friday, January 20th, and our state competition is on Saturday, January 21st at the Peoria Civic Center. There has been a lot of buzz in the cheerleading community and dance community about having the correct license. It is important that you do follow U.S. copyright guidelines and that you do obtain the license that is needed in order to edit the music for your performance. That responsibility falls on the school and the coach to make sure that you are in compliance with U.S. copyright guidelines. We did put together a PowerPoint that is on the cheer webpage. We hope you find that helpful, but if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Also, as part of your online entry form this year, you will have to check a box certifying that your music has been obtained legally. So whoever is completing the form is responsible for making sure that you are in compliance as well. We recommend that you do maintain documentation of your license so that should we need to reach out to you about that, or if there's a question about whether or not your music was purchased legally, we can always refer back to that if needed, but you do not need to turn that into us in advance. Regarding the online entry form, this must be completed by December 16th. The online entry form will include information such as your participants' first and last names, their grade in school, and their date of birth. Please make sure that you double check date of birth and their spelling of their names as well, because after you complete that entry form, you will also need to submit a photo with the names of the participants that are included in that photo as well. And we want to make sure that the names on the entry form match up the names that you have included in the photo. So please double check those. If you're a school that is participating in both the routine division and the cheer division, but you're using the same group of kids, you only need to submit one photo to us. So please make note of that as well. Finally, the major change that we've had to cheerleading this year is a coaching education and concussion requirement. The concussion mandate is a state mandate that is not a mandate from IESA, but we are providing schools with the tools that they're going to need to make sure that their coaches are certified. So in order to be concussion certified, you do have to take a course and pass the test, both of which are available on the IESA website, and you can obtain the concussion password from your athletic director or school administrator that would be handling all of that information. And then second, all coaches that are bringing students to the IESA cheer competition must be coaching certified. There is a listing of what those coaching requirements are on the IESA webpage. I have sent it out to cheerleading coaches, so if you have not received that or need a refresher or need to double check to make sure that you are coaching certified, please reach out to me and I can work with you to make sure that we have everything in place so that you're good to go for the competition. Okay, we have in the past had teams that have had to sign up for one division, and then based on injuries or kids not wanting to be part of the competition anymore, they've had to change the division that they had originally signed up for. The deadline to change your division is Wednesday, January 4th. So you may or may not be back from winter break at that point, but that is the deadline that we have set in place so that we can finalize our schedule and get together all of the materials that we need to put together for the state competition. So if it is after that deadline of January 4th and you need to make a change, what we have said to schools in the past is you are going to compete in the division that you are signed up for as of January 4th. And so if that means you have too many kids or that you need to cut some kids out, that is going to be the responsibility of the school. So again, January 4th is kind of our hard and fast deadline if you do need to change the division that you had originally signed up for. Okay. Scoring. Last year after the cheer competition, the advisory committee had made a recommendation to the IESA Board of Directors, which was approved to implement a rubric for the routine division. The rubric will only apply to the routine division and will not apply to the cheer division. On the routine scoring sheet for the judges, there are 5 different categories. Those categories include communication, fundamental skills, group techniques, overall effect, and sportsmanship. And the rubric actually only applies to the fundamental skills category and to the difficulty of those fundamental skills. The rubric does not apply to the execution. When you look at the rubric, there are examples of skills that could be included, but those skills are not all inclusive. I don't want schools to think that just because we include these things or these examples of skills that we're automatically going to get this score. So please note that those are just examples of skills that could be included. And you'll see kind of the range from lowest score on that rubric to the highest score. We're looking at how difficult the skills are that schools are implementing into those performances. Also, just for clarification, each performance will have a panel of judges scoring them. The individual judges' scores will be taken, added together, and then an average will be taken of those scores. And then any deductions that come from the technical judges will be deducted from that average score. This is the practice that we've been following, but we did want to clean up the language a little bit so that it was clear in the terms and conditions. So for those of you that are referring to that and see that it might be highlighted as something new for this year, it's not new, it's just the language was just cleaned up a little bit for you. Okay, so we are going to finish up just in a couple of minutes here. Thank you for bearing with me and watching this video and getting some of the updates for cheerleading that we wanted to make sure came from our office to each of the schools that are participating. The last thing that I did want to talk about was specific to the competition were about the IESA pass cards. This year, those pass cards are green and they have been sent out to your school administrators. They are not valid at the IESA Cheer State competition. We have actually removed that option for all of our state series competitions to allow that free entry. The only people that are allowed from your school into the competition for free admission are those listed on the online entry form for cheer, which would include the cheerleaders and the coaches. So please make sure that if you do have more than one coach that you do list all of those coaches on your online entry form. The last thing that I just wanted to make a plug for, each year the IESA has a One Team Award, and this is an award that we use to recognize schools who are involved in some sort of a community service project or a volunteer activity with one of their IESA teams. With you coming to the state competition for cheerleading, you would be eligible for this award as well. If your cheerleading team would like to either do a project on their own or team up with another IESA State Series team at your school, you're welcome to do that. The applications are due by April 7th and you can send them directly to me. We award a plaque, have an award ceremony, and a check for $500 to the winning school that is selected by our officials advisory committee. So last year we had a cheerleading school that was recognized for winning the award, and I would love to see that happen again. I have no say in who is selected as the winner. However, I would love to just see representation from our cheerleading community. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to reach out to me and I can get you more information about it. that concludes my updates for you for IESA cheerleading. As always, if you have questions, please email me at leslie@iesa.org or feel free to call our office directly. I'm happy to help you work through any situations that might come up or any clarification that I can offer. Best of luck to all of our teams this year.